Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Adam and this is Battle of the Beast All Generation episode number 80. Yep, we're finally at battle number 80 and I got two beasts fighting out for a spot in round 3, sorry. Unfortunately, this battle I would say is a bit on the obvious side, but I'll try and make it a good battle. However, I'm a bit pressed for time at the moment, so I may need to rush it a bit, but these are obvious battles, no one cares about them, so let's rush them then. I should not have said that part, but never mind. So let's introduce the beasts. Representing Series 7, The Lost World. Book number 2, The Destroyer of... The Destroyer of overused jokes, apparently, because it was in a video episode where it was a very overused joke, and it killed Fang the Bat Fiend. I'm talking about Hellion the Fiery Foe. There we are, got there in the end. And representing Series 21, The Sorcerer's Revenge, the destroyer of Torgor the Minotaur in episode 13. I'm talking about Tarantix the Bone Spider. Why did I do that? I need the stat cards up now. Okay, I'm clearly not with it today. Okay, so now, battlefield for these two beasts will be I think it needs to be a desert arena, because Tarantix was fought in the desert. Hellion will be fine in the desert. So yeah, desert. Here we are. Let's get to the stats. Let's start things off with Hellion. This beast's lair is deep in an active volcano. His body is like a column of flame, as tall as a blazing house. If he senses a threat, Hellion curls into a ball and rolls across the ground like a hurtling bonfire, scorching everything in his path. Hellion's abilities are rock physiology. Hellion is made entirely out of rock covered in flames. Fire manipulation. He can manipulate fire in several ways, like creating, throwing fireballs, shooting a jet of flame from his hand, and igniting his body with it. Enhanced durability. I don't need to explain that. Enhanced strength. Also don't need to explain that. Heat and lava resistance. If I need to explain that, then there's something wrong. Ball form. He can morph himself into a ball and just roll along the ground. Explosion absorption. Hellion can absorb explosions to further boost his power. Weaknesses are water and requirement for flame. To reignite himself, Hellion needs another flame to touch his body. So, yeah, that's good-ish. Like, weaknesses are kind of common, but other than that, still alright for a beast. Now, we'll go on to the next beast. If I can get the book all sorted out. That would be Tarantix the Bone Spider. There we are. Are you joking? Okay, bear with me. Had a bit of difficulties. Of course I do. Tarantix is a monstrous spider the size of a stagecoach. 6 of her legs end in a 3-toed claw, and her massive body is covered by pockmarked grain bone. A tapered point at the rear end of the beast's abdomen generates gooey spider silk, and the many eyes clustered on her vast head glitter with venomous hatred. Okay, typing in the stats. Because I forgot to take a screenshot of this one. Forgot to take a screenshot of this piece of stats. Trust me to do that. That's wrong. This one. Going on to the website now. As you can tell, I'm very formal. Okay, nearly there, nearly there. Right. This is awkward. Okay, we're on Tarantix stats now on the website. Nearly there. Here we are. Powers and abilities: web manipulation, regeneration, borrowing, natural armor, natural weaponry, enhanced strength, weakness. Weakness is fire. So, good luck, Tarantix. But with that being said, Hellion versus Tarantix. Let's get into this. So as the chamber doors open, a small mound of sand seems to be emerging, going straight towards the center of the arena. Tarantix is burrowing her way through to the center of the arena, and she does nothing but pokes her head up just to examine the arena, just to make sure it's safe. She looks into the other chamber and she sees a bunch of smoke erupting from it, and then what seems to be a giant ball of fire making its way towards Tarantix. Tarantix sees that this fireball is very large, and she ducks back down before the fireball rolls right over her. Hellion uncurls himself from the ball and looks into the hole, and creating he puts his hand over the hole and shoots out a jet of flame, igniting the entire hole. Tarantix is burrowing away round the entirety of the cave system she's making as she goes along, trying to not get touched by that flame. She then comes out of the ground and is greeted to Hellion, in which Hellion turns around, sees Tarantix, and conjures up a fireball and chucks it towards Tarantix, in which Tarantix burrows back down and starts creating more tunnels, interlocking each one to where it almost looks like a web, but underneath the ground. Hellion is shooting fire down into the holes, trying to get Tarantix to lure her out, and Tarantix eventually does come out. And when she does, she greets Hellion. Hellion goes to charge up towards Tarantix, and what Tarantix does is that she lifts up all 6 of her clawed legs and smashes them on the ground, causing the ground to shake and her web system to collapse the ground. As Hellion falls into it, getting half buried in it, Hellion, in anger, comes back out, and when he searches around, he can't find Tarantix. Tarantix has buried herself back down again to create another web. Hellion, furious by this, goes to the hole where Tarantix has burrowed into, curls himself up into a ball, and just chases Tarantix around in that cave system. Tarantix is seeing that and is quickly trying to finish up her web, just so she can collapse the tunnel in on Hellion. She then gets the idea to burrow down even more and go back the way she came. And she then dislodges the ground where Hellion should be, causing Hellion to fall further, and then she dislodges the ground above Hellion, causes that to fall on top of Hellion. Tarantix burrows herself back out and starts burying the hole where Hellion was. Hellion uncurls himself, stands up with covered in sand, not being able to really see where he is because the sand is in his eyes. He is furious by this and starts shooting jets of flame from his hands, going everywhere around the arena. Tarantix is dodging the fire as much as she can, buries back underneath to try and make Hellion fall over again. But this time Hellion's not having it. He stamps his foot, causing the ground to shake, and he collapses right on top of Tarantix. He then, using his hands, puts them on either side of Tarantix's head and starts shooting the jet of flame into Tarantix's skull, causing Tarantix to screech in pain as her head becomes blackened with all this flame that's caused on her. And then, using as much force as he can, Hellion brings his hands together, crushing Tarantix's head in. Tarantix's body collapses down to the ground. Hellion wipes the sand from his eyes and makes his way back to his chamber, ignited and fired up for the next battle. So with that, Hellion has won, Tarantix has lost. If you think Tarantix should have won, please in the comments below why you think that. How are my words final, and Hellion is going to win. I personally do not see a way in which Tarantix could have won. I made it. I was able to narrate the battle as best I could to help Tarantix win. However, I personally believe that even if you bury the flame, he's still going to come back up. And I just, whilst you can bury a flame and it could extinguish, I don't believe Hellion was buried enough to warrant being extinguished. So with that, I have to give the victory to Hellion. But Tarantix tried her best. Unfortunately, she's now eliminated. But with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, if you like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.